For husband and wife screenwriting team Jerry Liechtling and Arlene Sarner, the inspiration for their 1986 film Peggy Sue Got Married came from the roots of rock and roll music.
We had a rock and roll party, and we had a lot of people, 50 or 60 people. We were all standing around singing the same song. And waves of time just seemed to wash over everybody, and everybody seemed to return to a different place and a different time, and it was so beautiful and transcendent that we said to one another, we should either start a religion or write a movie. So we wrote a movie.
But his wife also had another experience to draw upon.
I had just gone through a horrible divorce and kept obsessing about what I would do differently if I had my life to live over again. And I thought, what I would have liked to have thought was I wouldn't have married the same man. And I thought, well, if I didn't marry the same man, I wouldn't have the same children. So that kept replaying in my head, because I had such a horrible time. But I realized that I probably couldn't have done anything differently, otherwise I wouldn't have had the same children.
And if she hadn't had the horrible time, she wouldn't have gotten divorced and met the prince she later married, her second husband, moi.
Peggy Sue Got Married was the couple's first screenplay, so when Francis Ford Coppola was brought in as director, it was a dream come true.
There's no one like Francis. He's Falstaffian in his ambitions and in his personality. He's just a magnificent piece of work, and the opportunity to work with him and to just be around him was incomparable.
In the movie, Kathleen Turner is transported back in time from her 25th high school reunion to her senior year.
There's a fork in your life, and you're going to take one turn, and it's really going to determine the rest of your life for a long time. And you're given an opportunity to go back to that fork. What would you do, and what would you do differently?
I mean, there are some moments where she says to her parents, trying to help them financially, you know, invest in IBM, buy Xerox, buy waterfront property in Malibu, you know, a lot of stuff in general, but, you know, predicting the World Series winners and betting on that. We tried to stay away from all of those predictable time travel cliches.
Most screenwriters sweat blood over their favorite scenes in a film, but Liechtling admits he had nothing to do with one of his.
My favorite moment is something that you can't write. Jim Carrey, one of the world's funniest and most bizarre human beings, does stuff in Peggy Sue as he does in real life that can't be scripted. And the moment when Peggy Sue wakes up in the gym in 1960 and she looks up and Jim throws his arm behind his head as if he's made out of rubber. We couldn't have scripted that. It was completely improvised. We also loved the music, too. That was a great part about it. And working with Marshall Crenshaw was great because we'd always envisioned Marshall Crenshaw as, you know, being the second coming of Buddy Holly. And when we wrote the script, it said Marshall steps up to the mic and starts singing Peggy Sue, and there he was, dream come true.
And the audience's unexpected reactions to the movie only made the dream better.
We sat in the theater and listened to people weeping, and that was the most amazing thing.
Listening to people laugh first and then weeping. That was so moving.
And Francis turned to us and said, "Good, good, good. Puddles on the floor mean pennies in the pocket."